and happy Tuesday evening. It's gorgeous outside, and I got to spend most of the morning outside today, which was really nice because it was not too hot because it got pretty hot today, and I got to enjoy seeing the green start to come out and fill out the trees and see people's gardens growing in, and oh, it was so nice. I never edited our to-do list, so let's just turn it off for now. Whoop. I forgot that I brought my mouse over here. We'll just turn off the to-do list. And let's get started with what we're planning on working on today. So some of the things I've done while I've been gone, or between streams, is I dyed the fabric. I dyed all that fabric that we cut and made patterns for in the last stream. Let me show you the comparison. So here's the original fabric, and I'll show it on the top-down view too, but let's leave it on this view for now. Here's the original fabric. And here is the dyed fabric. Isn't that pretty? I absolutely love how vibrant it looks and how bright. I'm just really happy with how well the dye took. I'm pretty sure this is a nylon base because when I was reading the instructions on how to dye fabric, everything was pointing towards nylon takes dye really easily, and this took really fast. Like, it was only a half hour to get it this bright. We did start from a pretty light color, this nice like peachy, almost skin tone color, but this is bright and I'm very happy with it. This is one of the capes, one of the cape pieces. It also shrunk down the cape piece a little bit, which is helpful because they do like to hang on their own weight. But yeah, this is one of the back cape pieces. I marked them with thread so that I would know what they were when I went to actually put them on. So we'll put that away for now and talk a little bit about what we're going to do today. So I dyed the fabric, and then I also made a waist belt for the skirt, just a new waist belt, and that's really about it. Oh no, I started patterning out the diamond shapes that are going to go on the arms and on the legs. I started patterning those out as well. So I have a lot to pin today, and I don't have as many pins as I thought I did. I thought I had like one more pin of them, but I must have already pulled those out because I am not seeing any more pins. A close-up of the skirt? Yeah, I can show a close-up of the skirt. Hey Z, how's it going? So here's how the skirt is looking so far. Let's see if bringing it into view over here. Whoop. So here's how the skirt is looking so far. I hemmed the bottom, but I hemmed it kind of messy because we're going to do a lot of cutting of the skirt today, so I didn't worry too much about it being really nice. So let me put this on the table, put this back down. Move you back out of the way and switch to this view. So here's what we're looking at for the skirt. Here's what the belt looks like. I made 4 inches, so it looks like this. I did a overlock stitch around the edging so that it wouldn't fray, because this fabric likes to fray a lot. So about 4 inches of fabric. I turned in the seam allowance, kind of like a can't quite remember what it's called now. Anyway, there's about a 1/2 inch turned in on this side and a 1/2 inch turned in on this side, and enclosed this seam here, which didn't look very nice. So I enclosed this seam with the waistband and used up a lot of pins that I'm honestly going to need for tonight to do this. I haven't sewn it yet, so this is what it looks like. Here's what it looks like on the back. One of these pleats was not cooperating, so I also fixed this pleat as well, or it will be fixed once we sew over it. So here's the waistband of the skirt. The other thing I did was I hemmed the skirt. I took off 5 inches in the front, so you can see the underlayer looks the same. I am going to remove all of this. This will be 5 inches, taken off 5 inches all the way around. And I left like a teeny tiny little train on this skirt, on the overskirt, which is where we're going to put in the godets today. Show the seams closer to cam. Yeah. So here is the overlocked edge of the waistband. Then we have this seam, the top of the skirt, that I will be enclosing with the waistband. You can see it looks kind of messy, so it's a good reason to enclose it so we can kind of hide that, make it look a little bit cleaner. And then flipped a 1/2 inch on this side and a 1/2 inch on that side. Bias, like bias tape. That was the word I was looking for. So I'm enclosing it kind of like edging, bias edging. And then I enclosed it on both sides. And then here's where I fixed that pleat there. So I shoved all the messy part up underneath, just hiding my mistakes, just hiding all my sewing skeletons underneath the bias edging, and I think that's going to be good enough, and it's fine. That's what these kind of seams are for, is to hide raw edging and make it look less raw, make it look prettier. So I chose the matte side of this fabric rather than the glossy side, just because I liked how it looked against the color of the skirt. Just a little bit of a difference. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to be measuring out where the godets are going to go. So I have to find the middle of each skirt panel and cut up 28 inches. I have to seam rip these seams in the skirt up 28 inches. And we have to do that all the way around. We're going to be pinning in 8 godets. And if we have time after that, I will start seam ripping the top and get rid of these sleeves, because I finally made a decision on these sleeves. We're getting rid of all of this in here. We're just going to get rid of it. We're going to open it up. It's going to make it a cooler top anyway, because the top is quite warm. All right, let's get started. Oh, let me show you what the godets look like. Ended up doing a 1/4 circle godet. 8 of these are going into the skirt. Oh, it's going to look so pretty. And look at how nice it looks, just nice and bright against the other orange. It'll be a nice contrast, I think, and really kind of give it that flamey look. So here's the pattern of this fabric. I think it just looks so neat with how it took the dye. The thread took it just a little bit darker, and it creates just this nice mottled patterning. Once again, just gotta show the original. Here's the original. The original versus the dyed fabric. It's so cool how well it took. I will be dyeing a lot of this in the future because it's pretty fabric and it takes dye very easily. Now the other thing I did is I dyed a bunch of extra fabric as well, so that just in case I want to add something else in that color, I don't have to attempt to replicate it again. So let's just get to it. Let's start measuring. Measuring these panels. I'm pretty sure they're just about the length of my, nope, quite a bit longer. Going to need the tape for this. And we're going to start cutting into the skirt. I love altering clothing to make it something new. One of my absolute favorite ways to cosplay. Trying to get this straight along the bottom. So I have a straight edge here, and I'm matching it up to that straight edge so that when I measure it, it's going to be a little bit truer, more true to the actual length. So we have approximately 25 inches. So 24 inches divided by 2 is 12, so this will be 12 and a half, which is right here. Did I set my chalk somewhere? That chalk will be helpful. Where would I set chalk if I was me? Apparently not in a helpful place. So I should get more chalk. And I'm going to move the chalk to over here because it's far more helpful over here. So at 12 and a half inches, that is where I'm marking this cut. So that's marked at 12 and a half inches. Now what I want to do is I want to find the center line of this. And to do that, I think I'm just going to fold the fabric in half and match up the seams, which we will probably have to pin to do that. So let's do that. So I'm pinning this down so that I know where the middle is on this panel of the skirt. Because this fabric is so slippery, it doesn't like to be pinned very well, or it doesn't like to stay put when I put it down. It likes to move around. which is not ideal when I'm trying to make a straight line cut. So I'm just trying to set these seams right on top of each other. So maybe what we'll do is we will cut out the center panels first, because having these seams intact is really helpful for finding the center line of the panels. So we'll start with just cutting out the middle of the panels first and pinning the godets in. See how floppy this fabric is? It doesn't want to cooperate. It says, no, you can't make me. Let's see what our goal is. Where's 28 inches? Oh, that's a big godet. Is that really how long I made it? Pretty sure that's how long I made it. Yep. It's 28 inches. It's a big one. Back to it. So today, we took my puppy to the groomers for the very first time ever. And I wanted him to get experience being at the groomer while he's still, you know, under a year old, so that it's just another experience he can have and not be afraid of. Luckily, this dog loves people. Like, they were like, oh, you need to walk out the door and he'll come back with me better. And he like looked at us once as we walked away. This dog was happy to be with new people. And it took them less than an hour to fully groom him. They did his ears, they gave him a fluff and buff, wash, a brush, obviously a blow dry, and they cut his nails and trimmed up some areas to help with sanitary concerns, and then just like made him look super fluffy and cute and clean. We were told that we need to work a little bit more on handling his feet, which I kind of knew, so we'll do some more work with desensitizing him to feet touching, but they were able to cut all of his nails. Where are we at? If I can hit 28 inches over here, then I know we'll have 28 inches over here. So they called us to pick him up and they said, your sweet boy is ready. And I was like, oh my goodness. I am that dog owner who is mollified when told my dog is cute. I'm just that person, I guess. And we went back and we picked him up. And he was so fluffy. And he was happy. Like, he really didn't mind being in the back. He barked a little bit when we got there, but it really wasn't. He wasn't concerned. He wasn't afraid. Which is really good. I'm glad that he wasn't. So he will probably have more grooming done in the future, especially to get his nails done, which was a big reason I wanted him to go into the groomers. When we took him to the vet and I was asking him, like, because, you know, I've trained my cats to have their nails done. And I worked with him young on paw touching and even did his nails once when he was like 3 months old. And then just out of nowhere, he's like, nope, don't touch my paws. And then I got sick and I wasn't able to keep working with him on it after that. So when I talked to the vet, they were like, take him to the groomers. They have the proper materials to be able to deal with that. So that's what we did. They did have the proper materials. They did ask that we work with his paws more, because he gave them a little bit of trouble with that. But overall, he was very good at the groomers, which makes me happy. Makes me happy that we have a good dog. Hey, how's it going? So far the fabric is going well. We have the dyed fabric. You know what, I'm just going to cut a swatch of the original so I can show the difference. Here's what the original fabric looked like before I dyed it. And here's how it came out afterwards. It really took the dye well. That was only a half hour of sitting in the dye pot, which was really cool. So now what I'm doing is I'm measuring out the middle of this skirt panel so that I can pin this godet into place. And then we'll have more floofy skirt. Lots of floofy skirt. There's the correct edge. Nice big long panel. But I have to find the middle of the panel first, so that's what I'm doing, is making sure that when I cut this, it's definitely the middle of this dress panel. Thanks, and I'm glad you had a great day with Lucy. It was a beautiful day out today, wasn't it? We took Takoyaki to the groomers and walked him there and back, and then took a walk to the post office, and then walked back home. So we did a lot of walking this morning before it got too hot out, which was really nice. Let's get some fabric weights out. That when I pull this out, it doesn't quite pull away from me. So close to that final . So the other thing with this particular panel is there are pleats at the top of it. Which makes it a little bit harder to find the middle because it's way smaller at the top. What do we have going on here? Lots of extra fabric. Yeah, it got warm fast. We're still learning how Takoyaki tolerates the heat. We're not really sure. He definitely needed water every time because we were able to stop by the house before going on to the post office. And he definitely needed water then. And that was a few blocks. And then he had a lot of water when we got home too, because that's the second walk was close to a mile. I think it's close to a mile. Almost ready to make this cut. I just don't want to have to repair anything. I want to make this cut correct the first time because I don't really think I get a second chance. All right. Is it 28 inches? Did I finally make it? No. Oh, yes? Oh, so close. Just like running out of table. See if that's the amount we need. Yeah, we need to get a collapsible water dish too. We had one, and then we went to visit family in Michigan and forgot it in Michigan. So we need to get a new one. Petco had some really cute ones. Okay, I think we finally hit it. This is it. This is 28 inches. So let's mark that with the chalk that I definitely still have and haven't lost yet. I found the chalk. Really make sure this is where I want it. Just this little fold of fabric under here that's giving some issues. Alright. I think it's good now. And that's where we're cutting to. All the way off screen. Oh no, you can see it. Wow, it's just barely on screen. Ooh, maybe? Oh no, it is off screen. Here we go. Making the cut. All right. First cut done. Only took almost 30 minutes. We'll be faster with the next ones. We've done it once now. I have to save every needle. So I know I'm going to run out of pins at some point tonight. So one of the most delightful parts of getting Takoyaki groomed today was his fluff just became super flowy. So when he walked, his fur would just kind of like swish from side to side, and it was really cute. And that includes like his butt fur would like swish from side to side. So I got a slow-mo video of it because it was just too cute to not get a video of. I wonder if I turned it this way, if that would make it a little bit easier on me. So then I have more table to spread out on, and I'm not smashing up against my camera. This one already seems easier. The video was cute. One of my friends told me to put a TikTok sound on it, and I found the TikTok sound, so it's going to happen. I will definitely post it to my Instagram and Twitter once I add that sound. And my TikTok too, probably, since it's there. What is going on with these seams? These seams aren't facing the same direction, so they're not as easy to line up. Oh, I think they're getting caught in each other. I think that's what's happening. So the seams are facing opposite, and one seam is trying to go inside of the other. Also, let's move what I'm doing into view of the camera. That might help. These flowy fabrics are so pretty, but they do like to be a little bit of a hassle sometimes. So while I was prepping for stream today, I spent so much time in the basement today, and it was so beautiful out, but the basement's nice and cool. Z put up some fencing in our garden because we have lily of the valley in our garden, which was very pretty when it came up next year, and it's already starting to flower, and it's still just as pretty this year as it was last year. However, the difference is this year we have a dog that goes outside, and lily of the valley is very toxic to dogs. So we need to remove the lily of the valley, but there's so much of it and it just keeps spreading that we decided to fence off that part of the garden. So we bought some cedar fencing, and Z spent the last couple of hours putting that fencing in, and it looks really nice. And it will keep Taco out of the lily of the valley part of the garden. It's easier to find the middle on this one, but these seams do not want to lay on top of each other at all. There we go. Finally got it. And I think there's a few other flowers in that particular garden bed that are toxic to dogs too. So I think it's just best to keep him out of it. And since he likes to chew on stick-shaped objects, and all of the plants coming in right now look like little green sticks sticking out of the ground, like, not good to have him in there. And I can't train him out of the garden. He just won't listen. He's like, I don't understand. This is backyard. I run around in backyard. This is where I run around. This is where I ran around all winter. I do not understand. And then when his buddy Mochi comes over, we won't have to worry about her getting into it either. Just easier to fence it off. And we're actually going to fence off a lot of our garden. Just to, mostly to keep the dogs out of it. I just feel like if I pull it this way. There we go. We're getting better at this. Each pin a little easier. I'm totally leaving the lining fabric out of this. I'm going to keep the lining fabric just regular cylinder shape skirt. If I want to add any openings to it, ooh, that's a very glue covered pin. We won't use that. That will go in the pin needs to be cleaned area of my pin cushion. Quick water break. We have to be getting close. Oh shoot, I have not been getting this correct at all. No! I thought I was so on it, and I was not. There we go, quick fix. See how close we are to 28 inches. I wonder if I should do like a counter. How many times do I say 28? Just a couple more to go. Hopefully that's the last one. Yes, that was the last one. Yay! Now we have to get it spread out. Oh, this took way less time to find the center after pinning it than the first one. Not having pleats to deal with makes a big difference. Smooth it out. And measure 28 inches. With the chalk, that I do definitely know where it's at. I saw it. Come on, chalk, work. There we go. Put that where I can reach it a little easier. Smooth it out. Make sure there's no wrinkles. I'm not seeing any wrinkles. Second one, almost done. Whew, second one done. Take out all these pins. Oh, good. I think these seams are facing the same way. Thank goodness. Yay, progress. Pleats do put often intentional wrinkles into things. In this case, it is unintentional. The wrinkles were intentional, but the frustration was not intentional. Get this first one done. I think we're going to start pinning godets after we have 2 more panel cuts to make, but I think it'll be easier to start pinning, because these godets are so long, they're so tall, I think it's going to be a little easier to figure out like which piece of fabric I'm working with if we do half and then cut the other half. I don't know, we'll see. We'll pin one and see how it goes. Also breaks up a little bit of doing the same thing over and over and over again. This goes a lot faster when the seams on the inside of this skirt panel face the same direction. Because I can just line up the back of that seam. Oh, I keep putting these pins facing myself. Now I don't have shirt to block it. Is this close? This looks kind of close. I put this on the table and then I can't find it. I put it on the floor and then I can't find it. Okay, probably one more pin. I was indeed close. All right, let's flatten it out. Woo. What is this extra fabric here? Fabric that I want? I think that's fabric that I want. Indeed fabric that I want. got a wrinkle. Where's this wrinkle coming from? I think we got the wrinkle out. I am going to need this up here. So I think there's, yeah, we've reached the back of the dress now, and there's pleats here as well. Is this the back seam? Yeah, this is the back seam of the dress right here. There we go. Measuring. We are measuring first before we cut. Forcing this chalk to work. Cut number 3.
Music is powerful, man. It speaks to a primal pit in our brain. It makes anyone want to get up and get their knees going. Gotta get pumping, pumping, pumping. Boom, 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 boom.
Cut number 3. And then this should be the last panel cut that I have to do. I need to unpin this. Back to your pin cushion. Ouch. Let's start from the top so I don't poke myself again. And the final center of the panel cut that we are doing. Measure twice, measure that. Words. Why? They left my mouth before my brain started speaking. Measure twice, cut once, indeed. Been doing a lot of that with this since I kind of only get one chance to cut a lot of these things. Like the hem. I meticulously measured the hem out. Made sure it was even on both sides. Separating the top from the bottom of the skirt. Only get one chance to do that. That one's not quite right. Almost, almost. So a friend of mine used to keep cichlids, type of fish, an aggressive type of fish, and has since decided to rehome them and get rid of her tank, which is a 90-gallon tank that has a sump already drilled into it, which is a really nice tank. Effectively, that sump adds, depending on how big the sump is, I think it's either a 40-gallon or it's maybe like a 20 or 30-gallon. Either way, that adds enough water for the tank capacity to be over 100 gallons, which is super exciting because that means Z and I can keep more goldfish in that tank, which is always a plus. More goldfish, yes, they're very cute. They're very pretty, and there's many different types. And when there's a bunch of them, they all swim up to you, begging for food, and you get a bunch of adorable faces at the front of the tank. So I'm excited for this tank because my friend is giving it to me, as long as we can find a way to get it up here. And it comes with a beautiful stand, the sump, a light, and it greatly increases our tank capacity inside the house. Thankfully, our fish tanks are against external walls, so those are load-bearing walls, so we don't have to worry too much about how much weight we're putting on them. That wall should be able to handle a 90-gallon tank, because it's currently handling a 75-gallon tank. Then I have to decide what to do with the 75-gallon. More than likely, we'll get rid of it. Oh, did I not? Did I get so distracted talking about fish that I messed this up? Nope, nope, it looks good. Whew! But that's really exciting. We get a new tank. We get a new bigger tank. And the dimensions are close enough to my living wall. So I basically made a mat that I put up against the back of the fish tank, and I hand sewed on aquatic plants to the back of that tank. And that living wall should be able to transfer right over without any issue. And I can add more plants to that living wall during the transfer, filling it out a little bit more, because some of the plants, when they reproduce, the baby plants just like float away on the current. It's like, okay, well, I guess that's not going to be attached to the wall, because I'm not sticking my whole torso in there to sew it on. Because these fish tanks they're 48 inches long, and my current one is 18 inches deep. So it's this deep. No, it's 20 inches deep, so it's even deeper. It's this deep. And then 18 inches wide. So like to get to the back of the tank to hand sew on more plants is too far. And I would just basically submerge myself doing it. So while it's out of the tank, when we're transferring everything over to the new tank, I'll be able to add more plants and fill in some of the bare spots where baby plants decided to not grow there. They decided to float away forever, or at least until I could grab them with my tweezers and put them in a different tank. Want to measure? There it is. Lost it for a second. It fell way under the table. "28 inches. Let's put this on here. I think this might be the easiest panel we've done yet. Didn't give me any issues. Of course, I started futzing with it and now it's giving me issues. And it went back exactly to how it was before I futzed with it. Okay, final cut. So one thing I'm considering doing with this dress is adding fishing line to the entire hem, which will force it to floof out a little bit more. I think that might look kind of cool. Oh. Power through. Oh, don't power through. I need more room. So a lot of belly dance skirts will have that. They'll put, so basically it'll just be like a tubing, and they'll sew their hem around the fishing line. And it forces the hem open. And I have some like really strong fishing line, so it's thicker. It's rated for, you know, bigger, heavier, stronger fish, which means that it keeps its shape a little bit better and it doesn't collapse on itself. It's also very curly, so we'll have to see how that looks. All right, this is done so far. Let's add in a godet and see. Let me show you. It looks kind of neat as is, with just the panels hanging open. I have a trench coat that I made for Jean Grey Phoenix from the X-Men 3 that has this kind of look to it. I really like that trench coat. Alright, let's pull out the newly dyed godets. And I think we're going to pin from the inside out from the wrong side. And if that doesn't work, then we'll pin from the right side. Did I have a godet over here? I thought I did. Did I put it back? Why would I put it back? I must have put it back. Let's get all this other fabric out of the way. That's a cape. That's a cape. That's a cape. And that's a cape. These are all capes. I found the godet. It fell to the floor. Let's find the correct side. the non-curvy side, here's the curvy side, and then there's a right side and wrong side to this fabric. The puckers either face out or they face in. I have the wrong side currently here. Start pinning it. And I do have to be a tiny bit conservative with my pins, because I legitimately do not know if I'm going to have enough to pin this whole thing, but we are going to try anyway. And tomorrow I might be running out to the store to buy more pins so that I can sew this. Well, we got that first panel cut. It took a half hour, almost a half hour to cut it, and then we were able to do the other 3 cuts in the rest of the hour. Pretty darn good. One thing I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make sure I don't stretch, since this nylon fabric is very stretchy. I'm trying to make sure I don't stretch it when I pin it into place, so that it just hangs. That's what I liked about this fabric, is it has a very nice hang to it. It should do pretty twirly things. I'm going to leave that one there. I'm going to start on the other side of this. Make sure I'm still working with wrong side. Everything. It goes through the machine. I want this facing up. Try again. Floppy fabric. Being difficult. No, I tugged on it. definitely going to want to do an overlock stitch on this because this outer fabric is fraying like nobody's business. I think my next big machine purchase is going to be one of two things. It's either going to be a serge machine, a serger, or it's going to be a resin 3D printer. I think which one ends up getting purchased first is going to depend on what's the better deal that I can find. Because I've been doing some research on resin and the type of material used in prints, and a lot of it is plastic, right? Which is, using plastic is not one of my values. I prefer to, if I'm going to use a plastic product, like kind of like what I'm doing here, the synthetic fabrics are all secondhand. So the material that I used for this nylon, I purchased it from someone who bought a bunch of dead stock fabric, specifically Donna Karan, New York dead stock fabric. And like, they have a whole attic full of it. Like, they have a ton of this stuff. So I purchased this off of them because what the designer would do is they would just throw it out. They would just throw out all that fabric after they're done with that line of clothing. So purchasing dead stock fabric keeps it from going in the landfill. So that's where I got this fabric from. And then my dress obviously is from my friend's wedding. And we needed dresses that looked flattering on everyone. And we found these dresses that looked flattering on everyone. That was the value for that wedding, and that's what we stuck to. Okay, I will figure out how to do the tops later because I don't want to fiddle with it too much. First godet is in! Looks so good! The skirt is already a lot wider. Oh my goodness. Yes, I love how it looks. Water break. On to the second godet. So, back to the 3D printing. I learned that a lot of PLA that is sold is actually made out of cellulose. It's made out of plant material. So when you go to places and they have plastic cups that say they are compostable, it's made out of that type of material, the compostable type material. However, the thing with those is that they are compostable, but when they're made like that, out of cellulose, they're effectively, it takes the same amount of time to break down almost as plastic. So to compost, they have to be composted industrially. It just like higher heat, it can be done, you can break it down, something that plastic can't do. And you can break it down into something that could be put into a garden. So it is compostable, and most PLA on the market is made out of this type of cellulose plastic, which is great. I do not have the ability to do industrial level of composting. So I was digging into it even more, looking for like, is there secondhand PLA? Are there other ways? Like, is there like conventionally compostable PLA? And what I found is that someone has made a resin for a UV type resin for a resin printer and made it so that it's like compostable. Like it actually composts in a compost pile in your backyard within 30 to 90 days, which is mind-blowing. That's amazing that it can do that. And I'm really excited about that because that does fit my values, and that allows me to 3D print things that, while I'm using them, are like hard plastic. I can wear them like armor pieces or embellishments, and I can paint them. And then when I'm done with them, who knows how many years from now, because they'll last. They'll just last normally, just like anything that's 3D printed like resin. But if I wanted to be done with it, or if I have scrap that I can't keep, I can compost that scrap and not add to the landfill, not add to waste, which is really, really exciting. So that is why I want to get a 3D printer too. Alright, these are all the godets. There are a couple that are a little bit lighter. So I might kind of put these out and see where those lighter ones are going to end up going. They might end up going, so there's a part in the front that might be overlapped a little bit. The skirt overlaps in the front, and I might be able to kind of hide it there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, and then there's a tiny godet. Is this the little one? Yeah, that's the little one. Which side is the curved edge? I don't even know anymore. Probably that one, maybe? No, maybe it's this one. Either way, we're not using that one. We are using these. So you can kind of see the color difference between the one that... This was the last batch that I did, and for whatever reason, I did the same thing. It didn't quite take as well. But I think if I put it on the same, like if I put it on the side seams, it might look kind of cool, kind of like, you know, fire isn't all the same color, right? And this is a fire type Pokemon. So I'd be kind of okay with it not being perfect. These are the two lighter ones. So these will probably go into seams. I think that's where these are going to go. Because then it can be the same on both sides. And then the rest can be this same color. The rest of these are pretty much the same, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. Yoink. Put that there. 4. Yes. Let's find the right side. I think this is the wrong side. Yeah, this is the wrong side. It's so subtle. The Surge machine would be nice for instances like this. So cool watching this take shape. Now the other side. Here's hoping I purchased enough thread for this whole project.
Yeah.
Not using as many pins for this means it goes a little bit faster too, which is very nice. I'll take it. Oh, I'm so excited to just like swooshy spin around in this skirt. Because once this is full, this skirt is gonna swoosh. Good swoosh. Almost exhausted all of the pins on the mermaid. Why did I think there were 8 godets needed? Do I only need 7? Maybe I'll stop at 7 today and see what we have. And then if I want to add an 8th, I will do that. There's the godets. that look like they're from the same dye batch. This looks like right side of the fabric. That looks like wrong side of the fabric. Let's cut this little snag. Oh, another snag. Cut them both. Get them out of there. Once again, trying to make sure I'm not pulling on this nylon at all so that I don't have any weird stretchy places. Working on the third godet here, pinning it into place. Second side. I feel like I'm getting pretty quick at this now. Oh, I cannot wait to see how this hangs. It's going to be so pretty. There's still so many raw edges and raw hems on this dress that it's kind of like, it just looks like a mess at this point, but we're in the it gets worse before it gets better stage. And I think, at least for the base dress, we're getting close to the end of that. And then I can start working on the embellishments, which I am very excited about. I started designing the diamond pattern arm and leg pieces. I think they look pretty cool. I'm going to cut the fabric out on my Cricut. And then I might either use a satin stitch on my machine or find another way to attach them together. And we'll get to figure out how to do beadwork and where to do beadwork. Because there's only 3 more streams until ASEN. That's it. Okay, which of these looks the boldest? They all look pretty bold. I'm going to choose this one, the middle one. Find the correct side of the fabric. We got the wrong side on the first try. Double check. Yep. Got it right. Ooh, we may have enough needles. We may just. It may not be a disaster, which is exciting. Really like it when things work out. It's very fun. They've exhausted all of the pins on my mermaid pin holder. Everything else that's in there is all like bent or sticky or something, and I need to clean them or fix them or leave them. I have one pin. This one is special. It managed to get pulled into my sewing machine. Like, this area here was around my bobbin. It was pretty scary for like 30 seconds, at which time I figured out that I had not in fact broken my machine. I had just gotten a needle stuck in it, which I think is about as amazing as it is awful. My machine has been working fine since then, so I'm not super worried. Draping these together, pinning them together about as far apart as I can reasonably do. Pull this a little closer. This is the first godet panel opening that we cut, and it's pretty visibly more frayed than the older ones. I don't know if it'll show up on camera. Nope, it doesn't really show up on camera. But this fabric is fraying quite a bit. So I might have to be a little bit fast about sewing these together. Might have to be one of the first things that I do tomorrow. Other side. Oh, need a good stretch. feels better. And this last side that we're going to pin together. Pretty amazed I was able to conserve needles that well. So something I did this past weekend, which was really fun, is go to, wait, was that last weekend now? What are weeks? Yeah, it is this past weekend. Oh my goodness. My brain was just like, what is time? Time is a weird soup. Because time is a weird soup. So this past weekend, I went to a Shepherd's Harvest Wool Festival. And it was absolutely delightful to watch I didn't really watch, I watched a lot of things. And I looked at a lot of yarn. And I saw a lot of sheep, and that was very exciting. Seeing a lot of sheep was very exciting. They're very cute, and I like the noises they make. Oh, that is a very bent needle. That won't help me. Alright, that one is pinned in. So I think what I can do now, wow, this skirt is so big. Like, it was already big, but it's like so big now. So I'm going to measure 28 inches on this seam, and I'm going to seam rip it. We're going to open up the seam. Was long. The skirt got bigger since we started on it. Quite a bit bigger. Chalk. See, I'm being smart about my chalk now. I like know where it's at. Alright, and let's start seam ripping. If I can find my seam ripper. I had it over here. I found it. It is not over here, in fact. It's right here. I found it. Of course, this seam is serged close, so it takes extra time to seam rip it. Yeah, it's even chain stitched. Closed here, so it's just This is going to take time. Oh, wait. Oh my goodness. This is beautiful. I can just open it. Amazing. That was so fast. Oh my god. I'm gonna remember that for the next time. Oh! It's fine. Everything's fine. Camera just decided it wanted to take a little nosedive. Camera's okay. I'm okay. I caught it. We'll use this moment to take a water break. Can I do that with this one too? Nope. I don't think I can do it with this one. Nope, this one's not going to be as easy. I do have to pull this. Oh, it wasn't chain stitched. It was sewn normally. Either way, that made it very easy to take out that top stitch there. Alright, and now we do the less fun seam ripping. Just getting in there. Being gentle with the fabric. And opening the seam. Seam ripping 28.5 inches of serged fabric. Oh boy, do I wish there was a different way to do this. Could I like grab a seam from up here? This is me just like trying all my options. Is there a shortcut? I don't think there's a shortcut. Sometimes you can get like one part of a thread and then, oh, kind of like what I'm doing. Oh, can I do it? You can like force it out. Nope. I don't know if it's working. We can see. Nope, that didn't, I don't think that did anything. Nope. Oh, yes it did. Oh. I might have found a shortcut. Thing is, will I have enough like leverage? I don't know if I do. I'm not sure which side. Ah, it worked once, but I can't get it to work again. I'm trying to get in a different area that I haven't pulled too tight. I think the worst part about seam ripping is not just like going through every single seam. You also have to like clean up all of these little thread bits. They get everywhere. Okay, can I figure it out again? It looks like it's the thread on this side. Ho ho. Going quite a bit faster. Question is, can I get it all the way to the end before the thread breaks? And then also this way I won't have all the little tiny fabric or thread shreds. Oh, it broke. The fabric or the thread broke. But watch this. This is going to be so satisfying. Let's just shorten this. This will be so satisfying. Oh. See this thread here? It's just all unraveling. Oh, that was so nice. But there's something catching here. So I might have to start this over. Nope. Well, that was pretty fun, getting it even that far. So now I have to find that, where that thread is again. There, I found it. Figure out what's going on over here. Where I got stuck. Make sure I get the right thread. I think I got it. The thing with serging is there's multiple different threads involved. And I don't mind seam ripping the rest, just that little bit. Oh, I found the shortcut. That took so much less time and so much less cleanup. Pretty close. Just a couple more. And then we'll be done seam ripping this one. There we go. Clean up this extra thread. We can pin another godet in. I think I said it was going to be one of the lighter two. So we'll grab that. And there's already a nice guide for where the seam is on this. Isn't that handy? And we'll finish out the stream with pinning this in here. I got distracted at some point and stopped talking about the Shepherd's Harvest Festival. We got to see a bunch of different types of animals that produce fleece that can be made into clothing and yarn. So a yak, we saw cashmere goats, we saw Angora rabbits, and we saw many, many varieties of sheep. A lot of them had been sheared at the festival that morning, and their wool was up for auction. I didn't buy any wool because I do not know what to do with a bag of wool, so I did not buy any. But a friend of mine did, and it was very exciting. I cannot wait to see what it turns into. That friend also has a spinning wheel and like knows what to do with wool. No, Seam, you're supposed to be my friend. Don't be difficult. But I also got to see lots of different beautiful yarns. And I ended up buying some yarn. That's 50% merino wool and 50% silk. And I'm going to weave myself a shawl for the summer. A lightweight shawl for the summer. And I'll bring it down at some point once it's done. I'm finishing up another shawl at the moment. And then I have another project that I'll be working on. But these two projects are going to kind of be like my getting used to my loom, know what I'm doing, so that when I start a special project or a friend of mine, I will know what I'm doing at that point. Whew. We're gonna have just enough pins for this. Like, just enough. So if I want to do any other sewing, I'm going to have to sew these godets in place because I won't have any other pins. And I will put what we have done currently up on the dress form and maybe move my table out of the way so we can see it. I really thought I was going to finish all of this today. I did not. But thanks for sticking with me while I worked on this much. So let's put this up on the dress form. Let's switch to the other view. Chatting. Move this out of the way. Move these out of the way. Move the table. Whoa. Table, do not grab the camera. Out of the way. And let's put the skirt on the dress form and see what it's looking like. Oh my goodness. This looks so cool. Oh, it's heavy now. We're a heavy skirt. Ouch. Those pins are facing up. So this side is a little bit more showing of what it will be. But you can see how much fuller this skirt is. Oh, that is fun. Oh, I love it. I'm totally in love with this. This looks like it'll sit right at about my butt, which is where I wanted it. I might even raise this godet up a little higher, just so it's like really under my butt, because that looks nice. And then the other light colored godet is gonna go on the other side of that, and that'll give it some like really pretty, it's gonna look so pretty. And it does look like, oh, it's not. So I thought one of the godets was going to be covered, but because the skirt wants to show some leggy now with the way that I've put it together, this godet is not going to be hidden. They're all going to be out for view. So I still need to cut, seam rip this one, seam rip this, so I have two more seams to rip, and then the skirt will be done. And then I can decide how much of the underskirt I want to hem, and if I want to open it up at all so that it's not too hot under here. This is going to be very warm, this skirt is. But I'm very happy with how this is coming together, how this is looking, and thanks for joining me on this journey. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening, and see you on Thursday. Good night.